a demonstration of the backup scripts and how they work, I have two file spaces set up. One called prod for production and one called backup for backup. Prod has got 3.8 gigabytes of data. It's just a whole heap of PDF file data. Backup is empty. I am currently connected to the backup file space, and inside the backup file space I've created the directory structures which would be daily, weekly and monthly. Now all of those are empty. In my EC2 console I have already created the daily and the weekly, and for this process we'll set up the monthly together live on the video. Beforehand, however, let's kick off these guys. You can start them manually, periodically, whenever you want, or you could set up the AWS scheduler, which is quite simple. The AWS scheduler. So while these are booting up, let's create our third instance. And we view instances, which is this instance here. These guys are running now. So if I just do prod backup monthly, so we have a name, and let's check to see what's happening. Okay, so things are starting to flow in now. It's pretty quick at doing what it needs to do. If we look at the directory structure and press refresh, we can see that the directories are updating. So I'll just type daily, and we'll be able to see that the files are flowing in quite quickly. 333, 332, 335. Now these are 5 meg, 2 meg files, so they come in pretty quick, because remember, we're going cloud to cloud from AWS Region Sydney to AWS Region Sydney, so there is no egress fees associated to that. So we'll let that go in the background. Our monthly machine should be fired up. So let's configure that now together. If I copy the IP address, and I use PuTTY to connect to my EC2 instances. So I'll do an ls, and we know the directory structure is empty. I'm going to then use FileZilla to connect. Place that IP address and I'll connect. And there's our directory structure. If I go to here, remembering we're making the monthly, so we'll use the monthly script and we'll drag this into our FileZilla environment, which will upload. And then at this point, we'll be able to do an ls, and we can see that our scripts are there. Now, this script is the one we need to change the execution permissions of. So we'll do that, and we'll paste that in there. Then we'll do another ls, and you'll now see it's green. Now, when we perform this command, this will automatically perform all the steps to configure the server, configure the services based on the properties. So in my example, my file space is called prod.filespace with the password 12345. I want to create a mount point of prod. I have another file space called backup.filespace 12345. I've got another mount point called backup, and my user is Ubuntu, which is the default user for AWS. So I'll press enter on that, and we'll see that it will perform the install. While it's doing that, let's check back and see whether our instances have stopped, which is daily and weekly. So if we look back here at our backup, we've now got double the amount of capacity, or approximately. If I click on my daily, my directory structure, sorry, we can see that we have 3.54 in the daily, and in the weekly we have 3.54, and in monthly we're still empty. So going back to our monthly server, it should be finishing. It's connecting and mounting to file space 1, connecting to mounting to file space 2. Now these services are already configured in the Ubuntu server now, and they'll perform all their tasks when they need to at boot up and shut down cleanly. So now if I do an ls, we can see we've got our two mount points, prod and backup. If we cd into prod, we can see all of our PDFs in the root folders. And if we go back and cd into backup, we can see our daily, weekly, monthly. So at this point now, this server is ready to shut down. However, I'm going to do a reboot. So instead of a shutdown and a halt, I'm going to do an R for restart, and I'm going to say now. So that's worked as expected. This machine will now start to boot up again or restart. Once it restarts, it will take a minute for the services to mount and for the copy to begin, and we will start to see our data coming in to our monthly backup, and that'll complete our process of having daily, weekly and monthly backups. So once the server restarts, you will see the files start flowing in. So now if we go to EC2 and do a refresh, we see that it's stopping. Our monthly backup server that we created is stopping. Every time you launch one of these instances, it'll perform the task and perform the copy. Thank you.